Well, good morning, guys. Happy Monday. Gonna do a quick, I guess you're gonna watch me stand here and talk for a minute. Andrew the Mechanic, if you haven't checked out his channel, I'll put a link in the description. He put out a little video this morning and kind of invited everybody else in this field, the automotive field, that has a YouTube channel, to join along and I guess do a history of sorts. You know, where you came from, where you're going, that kind of thing. And I guess, you know, when you start a channel, it's probably one of the first things you should do, right? Who you are, what you're about, introduce yourself to everybody. I never did that. I just started making videos. So I guess you can take this video as my introduction a year late. So I thought it was a neat idea. You know, I've had people ask me. So, and I also think it's good because, you know, there's a lot of upcoming young adults, I don't want to say guys and girls, that maybe think they don't fit the scenario of, well, they don't fit the criteria to becoming a technician. So maybe if you understand where everybody came from, you realize it really doesn't matter as long as your head is right. So back up a little bit in time. I didn't, untypically, I didn't have a relative, a father, an uncle, or anybody that actually brought me into the field and taught me anything. Quite the contrary, I didn't have a dominant figure like that to show me those things when I was a, I guess, teenager, young teen. Single parent. My two oldest siblings, by the time I was into my teens, they were already out of the house doing their own thing. So it was basically just me and my sister. Mom worked nights, which left me alone during the day to get into trouble. And I did a pretty good job of it. Didn't do well in school. In fact, I did pretty poorly in school, especially the first half of my high school career. Real bad. Took about, I guess, somewhere between the middle of my 10th and 11th grade to straighten my act out. And I had been toying with cars, just kind of figuring stuff out on my own. At that time there was no internet. I didn't have access to books. It was really just take stuff apart and figure out how it goes back together, hopefully. I think for a lot of people that are in this field, a lot of what we do is because of the way our minds work. We're very, you know, technicians in general, mechanics in general are very inquisitive. They want to know why things work, why they don't work, how do we make it work, and how do we make it better. We just, you know, I think a lot of us, I know myself, I have that thought process. I always have. So I guess I kind of found, I think it was my mother's car that she was getting rid of. It was an old, I don't remember what car it was, but I remember it was going to the scrapyard, and I said, well, can I play with it? And she said, yeah, go ahead. And I just started at the top and started taking the engine apart. Had no idea what I was doing. So somewhere, fast forward, somewhere around 11th grade, I was going into 11th grade trying to straighten my act out, and they said, why don't you take, you know, you need to take some kind of elective. And I said, well, I'll take automotive. And I immediately did well in it. And I found my niche, I guess. I did well, and I thought it was super cool as I learned it that people would look up to me for answers on their car, and that made me feel good, right? You always want to feel like you got something to give, and that, you know, that's a good part of why we do what we do, right? Feel good. So I made it through there. I went to trade school. I went to Lincoln Tech back in 1980 something. Back in 1988, I went to Lincoln Tech. Took the automotive and diesel program. Came out of there, and the ironic thing is, and I guess this is another lesson, I went into that, I was just going to take the automotive program. They said, well, why don't you take the diesel program also? I said, I'm not going to work on diesels. I want to work on cars. They said, well, you know, it's only a little add-on, and they talked me into it. I said, all right, I'll take the diesel program. Well, I came out of Lincoln Tech and immediately got a job with a school bus company. Mostly gas, but some diesels, which eventually became all diesels. Along with, you know, doing my own thing, working on cars, figuring it all out, hustling. It was the 80s. 80s were a good time to work on cars and make money. I stayed there about 5 years. School buses, that company wound up buying a motor coach company, commuter bus, company. all MCIs, big motor coaches, diesels. Again, so much for not working on diesels. So that 5 years went from school buses to over-the-road buses, back to school buses, back and forth. At one point, I was an assistant foreman, so I moved up, and things were going well. And then I got the. Then I guess I was smart enough to realize. I'd like to credit myself with this one. That I wasn't going to get the financial needs and the job security working in the private industry. So I took a city job. I took a city test. I passed it. I got called at 24 years old. I went to work for the New York City Transit Authority. Again, diesels. So much for not working on diesels. And I've been there for the last 25 plus years. In the interim, I had my own shop on one side of the island. Then I was approached by a couple of friends of mine who owned a shop on the other side and said, hey, we're looking for another partner. They also worked for the city. And I guess, time management was a little tough, so they came to me and I said, sounds like a good idea, I like it. I jumped on board, I had that, I was involved with that for 9-10 years. Doing both jobs, full time, never home, never seeing my kids, not making the money I needed to make to justify the time away. And then I think the key was I came home one day and my son, who was 7 at the time, said, Dad, how come we never see you? You're never home. You don't come home for dinner like all the other dads do. And I grew up without a dad, so, I went in the next day and told my partner I'm out. Make me an offer, I gotta go. And that's what I did. I continued doing some other stuff here and there, and then I reincorporated again as S&A Auto, as a mobile tech, and that's kind of where I've been. So that's my story, and that leads me up to where I am. I'm still doing both. I'm a little more flexible on my end, which allows me to see my kids, who are now much bigger. And now I'm at a point where I've always said, what, maybe someday when the kids get older and they don't, they're not relying on me as much. They're at that age where, Dad can have 20 bucks for gas, I gotta go. That, I would get more involved maybe, see where I'm at. And that's kind of what's happening, I guess. I got a little complacent. I'll admit, I got a little complacent. There goes my phone. Especially having my own shop, I was running the office, not turning wrenches, not going to training like I should, and we'll shut that off. Not going to training like I should. About a year or two ago, Keith from New Level got on me to pick up my game, and I'm glad he did. I've been hitting every single training seminar I can go to, trying to turn things around a little bit. I'm not sure where it's going to lead. I know Keith has expressed some ideas and doing some different stuff. I'm fortunate to have him around, so if he doesn't mind, I'm going to dance in the shadows as much as I can and suck as much information off him as I can. And, maybe this will evolve into something else now. Maybe it'll be, the next stage of whatever. And that's my story. That's me. That's where I came from. I will add in, here's part 2 of this video. For all the new, younger generation coming into this, I've seen this, videos and opinions. Can I make money? No, you can't. Yes, you can. The industry is screwed. Here's my opinion. Here's my 2 cents. Back in the 80s, shops were making a ton of money. We were making a lot of money. 90s and 2000s, things got screwed up. The technology was advancing faster than guys were willing to keep up with it. Just a lot of things changed. And a lot of shops closed up. I think we are at a point now where you're coming into this industry, I think you can make a lot of money. But I will predicate that on you're going to need to hustle. This isn't sitting on your couch Saturday mornings feeding your face going, geez, I'm not making the money I want. You're going to need to hustle. You're going to need to get to training, seminars, classes, whatever. It's going to be constant. It's going to be a lot of work. The technology in the next few years, from what everybody's saying, the next 5 years are going to surpass the last 50 combined. So if you want to do this, for the younger people that are getting into this, you better get your head on straight. You better know it's going to mean a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of dedication. And I think there's going to be a lot of money to be made. I think there's a new wave coming in that's going to demand more pay, more respect, something we haven't gotten in a long time. So that's also my 2 cents. This video's run long enough. It's Monday, I got a lot of work to do. I just wanted to get this video done, having just watched Andrew do his video, so I thought I'd jump on and get it done. Guys, thank you. Subscribe, bell, you know, all that other stuff. Tell me what you think. For the YouTube creators out there, the automotive YouTube creators, do your part. Curious where everybody came from, what everybody's up to, where you going. I'm on the upper end of this age scale, so I'm the old man in the group. But curious where everybody is. Do a video, give a shout out. Hope everybody's well. Peace.